I just happened to be watching one of my favorite YouTubers, the Rideshare Professor. He's the best. He's really good at it. He knows what he's talking about. And in this particular episode, he's really confused about basically why two fares might be different, even though not even that they're different. Like the fare that is going to pay more actually is shorter, but they're the exact same time going to the exact same locations. And I have an answer. So let's take a look.
7 miles, right? And you'd think that for the shorter one, 10.7 miles, and it's quite a difference, right? That's a 4 mile difference. How does a trip that is almost 4 miles longer, right, pay less than the shorter trip here, right? The only explanation that I have, right? The only explanation that I have is it doesn't really make sense at all, right? So I don't actually have an explanation. I apologize. I don't have an explanation for this.
So as you can tell, it's not a clear-cut case of getting a certain dollar amount for a certain amount of time or even a certain amount of miles. Uber is compensating the Uber driver different based on an algorithm that none of us really understand. However, this is what I think is happening. Let's pretend we're not Uber drivers for a second. Let's pretend we're accountants or we're lawyers or we work in an office. We get paid a salary per year, right? Let's say we make $100,000 a year as a salary as an accountant. The person sitting in the cubicle next to you gets paid 110,000, and the person sitting in the other cubicle on the other side gets paid 90,000. Even though maybe the person that makes 90,000 does more of the work. They work on more spreadsheets, i.e., compared to us, like they drive more miles. Compensation isn't always based upon the level of output that you do. Compensation is based upon the value you bring and, quite frankly, the wage that you accept. The person making 90,000 accepted 90,000, where the person that makes 110,000 negotiated for 110,000. You know me, I went out and did my own spreadsheet, and I wanted to answer why I think this is taking place. And I think the first thing that the Rideshare Professor is missing is that 15-minute difference, all right? One of the trips was at, I think, 4:30 and the other one was at 4:45. The one that's at 4:45 is going to pay more. Here's what's happening. Let me tell you, 15 minutes trying to get to the airport at a place like Madison costs more because you're getting to the airport at a later time. There's probably only so many flights coming out of Madison in the morning. So that means everybody is trying to get to the airport at the exact same time. So by leaving earlier, it's going to be cheaper. The second problem that I think there is with this, looking at it this way, is we only know what the driver is being compensated. We have no idea what the passenger is paying. There's an assumption that the passenger is paying more for the 24 and they're paying less for the $20 fare. But that isn't the case. I went and looked at my last hour I drove on Saturday night, and let's take a look at some of these numbers. Now, what you can tell is I drove my Uber for about an hour between roughly 8:30 and 9:30 on Saturday night. I drive in a college town, so I take a lot of short trips. But the math still matters. So trip number 1 starts at 8:30 and trip number 5 at 9. And the price that the customer paid is at the very top row, right? So the one customer paid $13. One customer paid as little as roughly $8.92. And all the trips are somewhere between, I don't know, a mile and a half a mile. In fact, the person that went with a 7-minute trip for 1.9 miles paid the least, right? So the price per mile fluctuates a lot. Some people paid as little as $4.69 per mile, or one person paid $22.08 per mile. And that affected the price per hour. One person paid $72 per hour. One person paid as much as $371 per hour. Now, my earnings also have no correlation to the ride itself. For each trip, I got paid roughly between $5 and $9. Just depends on the tip. There's a few other things that kind of go on there. And so my upfront earnings were on average $7.48. Uber actually made somewhere between, I don't know, actually they lost money, 63 cents on one, and they made as much as $3.79 on the other. But here's the other part to it. In addition to my upfront earnings for the fare and the tip, I got a $2 promo after 9 o'clock for picking up a trip in the city center. And then I'm working on a 70-trip quest, which ended up being roughly $3.64 per trip. So at the end of the day, my actual earnings per trip was $11.92 and Uber lost $2.50. And over the hour, I made $59.62 in that hour. And Uber's earnings were negative $12. They lost $12.51 during that time. This doesn't actually answer the rideshare professor's point. What we really want to look at is this fair? And my answer is no, it isn't fair. It isn't designed to be fair. It's designed to be efficient. In the world of economics, we're looking at the most efficient. Uber wants to charge the most. So they're going to try to find drive or riders that pay the most, and they're going to reward them with trips faster, or I don't know. I just know that the more you pay, probably more prioritization Uber is going to give you. And the same thing is true as if you accept less, Uber is going to give you more rides. And that margin, that difference is Uber's profitability. We're not working off of a rate card. Uber's auctioning off basically rides for what passengers are going to pay, and the highest bidder is going to win. And they're auctioning off to us, they're shopping drivers for the lowest. Not fair, but it's how the system works. And if you want to be an Uber driver, if you want to drive for Lyft, you have to play the game the way it is. And Uber is telling us what the game is. They're saying, hey, take more trips, take shorter trips. And that's how you're going to make more money. Instead of trying to maximize your dollar per month, I never look at how far my trips are. I sincerely only look at the time. Time is what matters. People ask me how much I make in a year. They don't ask me how much I make per mile. My market is my market. It's not Los Angeles where I think he drives. It's not New York City. It's my market. And so your market's your market. You have to do what's right for you. The reality is, though, that you can't think about how much money you're making on a per mile basis or some sort of rate. Think about how much money you can make every hour. That's how you're going to be the most profitable. And one final note here about what the rideshare professor is talking about. He's talking about, should the passengers be upset? That's an interesting take. And I wonder if the rideshare professor charges his private customers a flat rate, or does he charge them different rates? I don't know. And I'm not accusing him. I reward him. I applaud him. He's an amazingly smart guy. He is making a lot of money, and I encourage every one of you to go follow and watch him. He's one of the best in the industry. But I make the assumption that when somebody gets into his car, he probably negotiated a rate that he thought that they would pay. That's how we do business in America. That's how it is. It's not based upon a rate card. It's based upon what we think somebody's going to pay for it. Kind of like going up to a garage sale, right? There's a set of golf clubs sitting out there, and there might be a price on there might not be a price. The person that's selling the golf clubs wants to get the most amount of money they can for those golf clubs. And so they're going to try to negotiate, and they're going to try to find a way to get the most amount of money for those golf clubs. That's logical. That's free market, economy, capitalist. That's what we are as Americans. Hey, again, subscribe to his channel. He's amazing. If you need help, please use GigRocket. I've heard it's worked wonders for people. Go to his website, check it all out. He's the best. Just try to look at it differently. That's all I'm saying.